and welcome to today's webinar, Fortify Now, How Automation Builds Business Resilience. My name is Alex Kepsel. I'm the Director of Product Marketing at Vention. I assume most of our audience knows about Vention, but if not, we're an industrial automation partner and provider. And a common analogy we use is we provide Lego building blocks for automation, where manufacturers can design, simulate, and deploy and operate their automation all from their web browser with remote engineering support from Vention. So that's us in a nutshell. I'm super excited today to have a guest speaker, Roberto Tovar from Sears Seating, who I'll introduce in a second. A lot of times I'll host webinars and it's me doing a monologue for 30, 45 minutes. That's not what we're going to do today. Today is more of a one-on-one discussion with Roberto from manufacturing, from the floor, like you, to hear how their business has used automation to grow and bring stability and overcome some of their challenges. So super excited to bring Roberto on in a second and get into our discussion. Last thing, quick for housekeeping, we do have a Q&A box on the side. If anyone has questions that you'd like to ask Roberto or myself, please drop them in the Q&A box and I will get to those at the end. We'll have plenty of time. And with that, let's get started. Another thing I want to mention too, just taking a step back, context for this webinar. In manufacturing, we've talked a lot over the last decade about labor shortages and even most recently rising costs with inflation. Now we have a third thing in the mix with the economic kind of trade uncertainty or trade wars that are going on. I'd say now more than ever, capital efficiency is super important. And so we just published a new automation ROI guide that I can share with everyone after this webinar. So all the registrants will get a copy of this. Not only does it walk through calculating the ROI to achieve high ROI, but it also goes through some examples with Vention from real world customers showing that having a digital tool and having these Lego building blocks eliminate a lot of the custom engineering costs and can actually reduce CapEx by 25%, then which increases ROI. So I'll share that later today and I hope everyone enjoys that. I think that'll be super valuable for manufacturing audience here today. The second thing is if anyone is going to be in Automate Detroit next week, Vention will have a booth and we would love to see you there. So please stop by. As you can see at the bottom there, there's our booth number. We'll have a full team there answering questions if you have any. We also have a number of different demos from machine tending, overhead 7th axis welding, a new machine bin picking demo with AI and 3D vision, and a number of other demos. So we'd love to see you there if you're going to be in Detroit next week. And that's it for commercials. Now let's get into the conversation with Roberto. So before I bring him on stage, I just want to introduce him and give some background. So Roberto's a strategic manufacturing engineer for Sears Seating, who's a leading supplier of suspension seating. He brings a forward-looking approach to industrial operations, specializing in digital transformation, production systems, and the industrialization of new product lines. With a strong focus on aligning factory infrastructure, technology, and talent, Roberto collaborates cross-functionally to deliver efficiency and continuous improvement for manufacturers like Sears Seating. His expertise includes production layout design and deployment of manufacturing lines to optimize capacity, quality, cost, and agility. So with that, I'll bring Roberto on board and welcome. There you go.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Alex. So I think you did a brief introduction for myself. So yes, like you said, I've been on a manufacturing role for more than 10 years, and I'm happy to be with you guys to share my experience with Vention and the path that we start with Vention a few months ago,
Yeah.
and kind of like what we have been done so far and the visions that we had and the projects that we got working with you guys, and how is Vention helping us to do the complete industrialization plans that we had for CR Seating.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Roberto. And we'll definitely get into the automation projects you guys had. Would love to start higher level first, just give the audience some context tell us about Sears Seating. And I know we have one of your corporate videos queued up. We can share in a minute. But yeah, what do you guys do and what do you specifically do for them?
Yeah, so CR Seating has been on the market for a lot of time in the United States. Basically, we're leading manufacturer of suspension and ergonomic seating systems for off-road vehicles. The company specializes in designing and innovating product with a high performance seats on a wide range of application. So we got seats from agricultural machinery, construction equipment, commercial truck, and also turf care vehicles. So we basically cover that kind of OEMs, and we are just getting better at the industrial, automotive, or off-road vehicles. So we are start raising our manufacturing weight and start raising com- the competitive that we got on the manufacturing to start getting on more automated uh, way. And with all that comes, like lean manufacturing and more automation and better floor planning and layout. And that's where we start working with you guys from Vention to start getting all the improvements um, in place and implemented on the shop floor, right?
Yep. Yeah, definitely interested to hear where Sears Seating is at in the automation journey, right? It's a journey. Like looking back, I don't know how when you guys' company was founded, but I'm sure you've made progress over the past, several decades. Maybe we'll start with to like pictures are worth a thousand words. Maybe I'll share your guys' video because I think it's a really good. And as a
Yes.
fellow marketer, it's a impressive video. I think it gives good context of Sears Seating,
What
and
you
then we can
do
go from there.
matters.
Okay.
For your family, work hard because what you do matters. For your family, for your customers, for your sense of accomplishment. There may be hundreds of good reasons for your hard work, and at Sears Seating, we support them all because we believe that while you work hard, there's no reason you shouldn't work comfortably. Whether you're caring for the land, helping to construct the future, or moving the materials that keep the world going, you should be comfortable doing it. In fact, your comfort is our main goal at Sears Seating. We put all of our effort into the physical science behind comfort because we know that better ergonomics and innovation means less fatigue and more energy. It means better health for you. Rely on our global team with over 160 years of experience, bringing passion and commitment to the work vehicle industry. All so that you can work hard and work comfortably. Sears Seating.
I guess that answered my question on when you guys were founded 160 plus years ago. So you've
Yeah.
been doing this for a while. Um, maybe, well, I'm curious, Roberto, what do you do in your role as manufacturing engineer? And then would love to jump in and learn more about like the past 12 months or 18, 24 months. Like what have been the main goals for you on the manufacturing side?
Yeah, so as a manufacturing engineer, right now, I mean, the role cover a lot of stuff, right? From a project management to like manufacturing or process engineering role. But my main duties right now is that we're expanding our operation to a new facility. So we start to just recover and value stream mapping the current opportunities that we got on the current facilities and start checking and taking a step back on how can we improve from a layout standpoint, manufacturing design, fixturing design, and how do we start taking that path for automation, right? So on the last 12 months, we have been working on a new facility to expand our manufacturing capacity to meet our customer demand and new projects that are coming for the next couple of years. And of course, I mean, everything just thinking about how do we improve the efficiency with a lean manufacturing thinking and a continuous improvement thinking, right? Um, we start basically taking a step back and start just really checking how is the operation running right now and where we need to have improvements from the manufacturing standpoint and like adding values for safety ergonomics and better material flow on our manufacturing lines and that's where we start looking for better options of fixturing design and conveyor design and how the automation can help us to meet those metrics and those goals, right?
Hmm.
The big challenge that you got when you start thinking about all that kind of stuff, the reality is that on the background there is a lot of customized designs, and sometimes us as a manufacturing engineer we do not have the skills or the time to do all that design and all that pre-work to actually have in place those customized designs, right? So we kind of start at the beginning to start looking for some old equipment that we got that it was working at some point properly, but when you start digging on where's the documents, where's the prints, and where's the actual engineer of that stuff is gone, or we don't have it documented properly, or sometimes it's a solution that is not on the market anymore, right? So there's where we start to to start thinking that we can do automation easily, and we can start doing customized design for fixturing and for equipment with you guys, and where we start seeing the value added for the safety, efficiency, and the connectivity of the equipment for getting data and to have data acquisition, right? So basically, it's I mean, overall, is how we have been working on 12 months. Is just getting a new Kanban factory where we start thinking on a better way to manufacturing seats, and besides the scene everything comes happen to start more getting more customized designs. And of course I mean that requires a lot of manpower and a lot of thinking, a lot of the design thinking that we maybe don't have the time to go that deep design thinking or that design develop. And that is where we see a huge value added for Vention to shortcut all those lead times and start getting solutions in place on a really short time of period, and of course in a really good price if would you compare with any turnkey solutions automation supplier, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know you sent over some images, and I'll go back to those in a second that show this side by side and even your production line with the Vention equipment. We'll show that in a second, but I just wanted to circle back and like clarify. So as it sounds like you guys are growing and you're expanding to a new facility and you're now rethinking and trying to optimize the layout for, is there a certain KPI that you and your management leaders have, like business leaders have in mind of like this throughput and this is the number of people we want working, or like this is the cost per unit? Like what are like the main metrics that make this, we're going to make this successful for you?
Just so the main I mean the main plan is that the first KPI is the safety and ergonomics. So we got a lot of ergonomic improvements that we start looking on the current stations or the current line designs that we do, and we start targeting those ergonomic stuff. Of course, the goal is to eliminate any safety risks that we got on the line, and that is a continuous improvement test. And then we start looking on the improving operational efficiency, right? So the goal of the idea is that trying to efficient the way to eliminate two positions per line. So basically, I'm just putting an example. Is one line that we got over here is that is a 10-man operation line, and we're trying to reduce it to have a 8-man operation, right? So like just doing that industrial engineering studies and start just eliminating the no value activities and start doing uh, automation activities to eliminate those position or those work contents. That's kind of what we're driving. So basically, we're thinking about eliminating 20% of the labor force in main of the lines just by investing in automation on our
Yep.
lines.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
And sounds like making it more safe for the workers who are there, moving some of the unergonomic, unsafe, repetitive jobs to other parts of the business, stuff like that. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Let's go back to the visuals because yeah, now we're talking about kind of the specifics of what you guys needed or are doing. I don't know, you know these pictures better than me. Let me go back to the beginning. Yeah, so if you can see this one here, can you walk us through a little bit of like what's going on here?
Yeah, so like I mentioned at the beginning, is that we're mounting a new facility. We used to had a kind of our manufacturing designs used to be like a C-shaped cells, and we start thinking about start removing or start just going more straight lines with feeder station and start eliminating a lot of variations that we had on our seats for a feeder station and just going with straight lines. Uh, that will help us to do better work balance and do work better industrial engineering work balancing stuff. And when we start thinking and when we start benchmarking and when we start these journeys that the reality is that a lot of the seats manufacturer they already have a lot of automation lines and turnkey solution for all that, right? So we said, okay, we're not ready or we're not basically going to make the call until we tested out that this new line design concept is working and is getting added value to what Sears is doing, right? So we cannot didn't want to take all the way through to automation, right? So when we start the conversation with the Vention team, is like, let us start just making straight lines with conveyors, and we're going to start escalating the automation as we go station by station. So we really understand what is the needs for each operator, right? So even
Yep.
though you have a lot of industrial engineering work and documentation and all that, sometimes it is just happen really different, right? So
Yep.
what the opportunity that we saw is that we went back to the basics and we start doing the complete sequence of events, and we started really going through tag time study times and start developing the real work content and the real um, work that is happening station by station. And then we start having communications and weekly meeting with Vention on, hey guys, we see this opportunity, hey guys, we maybe add this stuff on this station, so we can start developing that line station by station. And right now, I mean, we are just about to start operating to that line, but that value added to just have one location for each of the material, have the assets that we need really on the station where it's needed, and stuff like material presentation, where is the computer for the MES or for the work instruction display is going to be at, where is the controller for the tool is where it's going to be at. That kind of like design of fixturing design sometimes on projects take a lot of time for developing all that, right? And of course sometimes the manufacturing team might not have the skills to develop of that customization, and we see a potential or really a good added value of just passing the information to you guys like, hey, we see these sequence events, this is what the operation is doing, and basically we start just layouting station by station what is the material that needs to happen on that place and what is the tools that need to happen to this place, right? And eventually, once we have that layout and that design, we start looking for the improvements on the automation, right? So simple stuff that okay, we need to raise up and down the station, we might be need to tilt the station for having access to all the points, we might be just need to swivel the station because the operator needs to just have access 360 to the station, or a more complex station where, okay, whenever the operator is finished, we release the seat, so we assure that is complete on that station, and then start just rolling the seat to the next station. So those are the kind of stuff that we start looking on automating the straight lines, right?
Mhm.
And I mean, just starting at the beginning is that used to have stuff like this make independent in different lines, but we didn't have the chance to actually lay out a complete line with that thinking, right? So this picture actually show the complete concept of having the complete manufacturing design strategy of having a plan for repair locations and the complete station work layout. So the good thing is like it just take maybe one time to do it right, and of course it's a continuous improvement that you can add stuff and you can just be flexible, and that's what actually we love from Vention, that is everything is modular and you can add stuff or remove stuff as you want to. So of course when we do station design, we think as engineer and we just give what we think, but the reality is when you just start putting stuff in place, the operators or the people that is working there, they maybe have better ideas, right?
Mhm.
So sometimes with on the past where we used to have just a station welded up, it was a lot of time that we had our maintenance team just doing customization and just renewing or just doing modification to the workstations to add stuff, or sometimes you even have to redesign the complete station in order to get it to the point that that is more efficient
Right.
for the operator, right?
Yeah, the iteration cycle can be kinda long, and then you're spending a lot of time and money on getting it to the right place where you want it to be, whereas sounds like you're saying with Vention and all these plug and play components, and we can design them pretty fast in our digital machine builder tool, you can see it and iterate much faster. Um, I think there was something else you mentioned last time we chatted about just going through the process of working with Vention versus a traditional integrator and like where that payment is. I think you or the quotes were a lot different that you were getting. Like Vention was a lot lower than what you were getting from integrators again because of that. I don't know if you want to speak to that. Was
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Is I think you got a picture of I think it's the latest picture, Alex. I just want to put all the slide 9. So this one is fine. I mean, just for an example, we had a lot of stuff that has been internally made for our maintenance department or for internal manufacturing engineers that they wrote an idea and they just do something in house or like that, right? But I mean, just putting this an example. I mean, this is something that we develop in house on the left picture, but it was not working the right way. I mean, every time it's kind of like it is a compressor machine that whenever we do the foam pouring for our cushions, we have to remove the air that is accumulated on the foam. And internally we developed this solution, but it's basically a roller with a band conveyor, and it's basically feeding to that roller to kind of like a squish the stuffer or the cushion of the seat to remove the air of it. Uh, but we know that it's not safety wise, and the effort that we have to put from our maintenance team to get stuff together and to push out the parts and to make it work. We write a business case, and it was basically 50% of just getting something from the from you design, right? So project like this, we start thinking like, hey, it's better to kind of design with a better safety and scalable design solution, and that you can move around and start adding stuff or start adding a wider conveyor or a long conveyor for a different layout or whatever. So we start just going through kind of projects like this with you guys. And I mean, we did a business case for a couple of projects, but just having outsourced with a supplier or having our maintenance guys develop something like this, it was like 50% of more expensive, even though if we design it or we build it internally, just
Hmm,
by design. I mean by that, right?
right.
So, and of course the lead time is just not comparable. I mean, just by when we start thinking on buying stuff and making our team to start building something like this, it might maybe was going to take 1 month and stuff like this, we can have it in 15 days from you guys, and it's just a plug and play, like you say, right?
Yep.
Plus, you get the additional of having already controls skills, and that's kind of where we are driving or team to start the manufacturing engineer to be more advanced manufacturing engineer, where we can start develop the skills to be having control skills and start doing the Python programming. So we saw a lot of opportunity that is really easy from Vention to start doing uh, automation control skills.
Yep.
Besides, if you go with a turnkey supplier where they basically the controls engineers develop the code and they give you the solution, but whenever you get an issue on the shop floor, if you don't have a dedicated control engineer that understand the control word and on all that language, is going to be a lot of downtime or is going to cost a lot of money by paying really skilled people that understand all that, right? So
Yep.
we also saw a lot of potential for raising the manufacturing engineering role to start doing advanced manufacturing engineer path, and by having a skills for control engineering just developed by the controls that we use with Vention, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Upskilling people, giving them new job capacity and new stuff to learn. I'm sure engineers especially love doing that. So, and then like you said, you guys can make changes faster without having to get us involved. So,
Yep.
yeah. Um, so sounds like there's a lot of projects here we've looked at. It's built and in your facility. I wanted to talk about like results so far. You've already mentioned a few more internal results, like you were able to save some capex by working with Vention. It was a lower quote than integrators. You were able to create this new job opportunity for people, for engineers, and teach them Python programming and controls engineering and stuff like that. Are these, I guess, flipping to the business side, are these I think you mentioned these are about to go into operation in the next few weeks, and then that's where you'll start to see the production capacity go up and efficiency and all the ergonomic benefits. Is that true?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
So we started with one complete line, Alex. We had a couple of projects with like I would say like painful points that we had for okay, like I mentioned. I mean, okay, we have this machine, but it's obsolete or it's not the best design. So we had to work with you guys for different design, but eventually we get the opportunity to mention to develop a complete line for all the fixtures and all the main lines and all the stations that we build, and that's kind of the picture that you are showing.
Oh,
So we gave the opportunity to give a complete business case with mention of building a solution, and sometimes even though it's maybe not a turnkey solution, basically our team developed the last part of the project by doing implementation on the shop floor, right? And that is where I see the more achievable for us as a team, because it's not a supplier that okay, I got this issue and you go with an automation supplier and they just give you the solution, and of course you get training and they give you the debugging process and they give you the solution and that is working. The really value added is that there is a lot of meetings with Vention as we go on develop this stage, that is really understanding what is the really need of the customer and what we really need to implement to make this efficient, and of course real estate wise and layout and just simulating how it needs to be, right? Besides maybe working with a turnkey solution supplier where they develop the complete turnkey solution and they just give you the layout and the prints, and then you have to arrange the layout to actually fit that machine, right? And sometimes when you say, well, my real estate is complex, or I cannot, or I have to pay, or I have to move stuff around to make now that solution be implemented, I think we play around the other way, and we said, okay, this is the real estate that we had, and let's get solution according to that real estate. So
Hmm.
kind of come to my first point that is said just having that blank Kanban factory, that was kind of one of the primary metrics that my management was looking at. How do we really do a factory master plan on the complete building, and how do we really efficient, or how do we really make sure that whatever we implement is real estate making money, and we're
Hmm.
not just throwing bunch of equipment that is huge and is not really efficient and is not really making money, right? So that is the another stuff that I see that is really a really good potential and feedback from Vention, besides any other turnkey solution
Yep.
automation supplier, right?
Yep. Yeah, sounds like you guys in your whole alignment with the leadership team is like you have a vision for where you guys want to go, but you're starting small. You're going incrementally, and you're adding value along the way. And like eventually, you'll get to maybe fully automated. But right now, it's like you've built a system that's flexible, that's already delivering value fast. You can tweak it if needed and optimize it. And then once you get that, and your team's trained up and does Python programming on their own and stuff, then you can move to the next. And at that point, you'll probably even lower the capex even more because you won't even need us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool. What's let's see. So you talked a lot about what you guys used for automation, what you were trying to achieve, some of the results. Maybe getting just a time check, getting into the last 15 minutes here. These are some fun questions for the audience, like lessons learned. Looking back, what's something like your number one advice for someone who's looking into automate right now? Yeah, what advice would you give to another manufacturing engineer who's looking into automation?
I will say, I mean, the way that we did, I mean, is not the best way to do it, but we really take a step back and start thinking, okay, what is the real painful points that we had from operation, right? I mean, of course, everybody wants to everybody has great ideas, but what is the real pain points that we got for operation, right? And of course, I mean, every company I think is looking for safety, efficiency, quality, and performance, right? Productivity, right? So what we did is that we really did an assessment with the complete team and involved, maintenance, quality, and production people to say, okay, if we're going to start this path on automation, let's start identifying what is the real points that we want to target, right? And whenever we did that asset, we came with a list of 100 stuff to do, right? So the the line that I give to the team is let's start small and let's start solving real problems. Like, it is too easy to think, okay, well, I want to eliminate an operator that had a jeep crane and that has to lift whatever, and I want to add a robot. And okay, yeah, of course, adding a robot is going to be a $500,000 investment, but we don't have that, and maybe it's not a return of investment or business case, right?
Hmm.
So we kind of like start looking just for improvement ergonomics, start getting more condition or better condition for operators to have uh, like better ergonomics and safety points that were on the current line, and then start looking on the quality points. So what is really the quality defects or the quality issues that we had on the lines that we can improve with automation. So basically, when we start doing all that, everything turns to improvement and efficiency, right? So I believe when you really target safety and quality points, and you start making turning that into real solutions, that will be just translate to efficiency and start hitting faster cycle times and starts hitting the takt time and the operation, right? So I believe that the result of really getting the production volumes that you need will eventually come, as long as you make that engagement with the people on making improvements on the ergonomics, on the safety, and the quality standpoint.
Hmm.
And when you make that engagement with the operators and you start just really giving true solution on the shop floor, you will start gaining that engagement with the operators, and they will be working on the most efficient way that they want, or they can, and eventually they will be translate to making money every day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, the biggest advice is for what I would say is let's start small and solve real problems. I will say let's keep everything designed and flexible. So even though that you had a better or a really good design, everything is flexible. And I will say just build that cross-functional team where you guys can maybe value stream map the really needs on the shop floor from the operation, and count all those comments and all ideas into the design with Vention to make it design and implement it on place, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great advice. I'll invite people now as we get towards the end. Put your questions in. Roberto's here to help and give his real world insights and advice if he can. So, yeah, please submit questions. Let's see. Talked about automation journey, advice. Um, let's see, results and ROI. How about, I guess, just looking forward now, I'm guessing the goal is for you guys to get these things up and running and optimize them. Is there anything else? What are you looking forward to now? We're getting into the second half of 2025 almost. We're almost mid-year. What are you looking forward to? What's Sears Seating looking forward to in the rest of the year?
Yeah, so basically for the end of the year, we got another project similar to aligned to that I show you, and we're adding and we're escalating the level of the line design and the fixture stuff. So we are kind of like on the design phases of that, and I think it's just a journey, and little by little we're just adding stuff to every design and improving all that. And the good thing that I told the team over here is like, if you get to that level where you got drawings and you got improvements and it's working, it's really easy to just like copy paste the idea and have something in place in a really short time of period.
Mm-hmm.
Before, it was a lot of time consuming for us to really, sometimes go look where's that design, and maybe it was on a personal folder for somebody that left the company 2 3 years ago, so it's gone. So then you have to do the complete reverse engineering to go to the shop floor, taking measurement, and then start designing it, and start like getting the fixture or the station design to get back to the same solution that maybe you got on the shop floor, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of giving that path, identifying the critical assets and the critical features that we can work with you guys. And I told the team, it's just take one time to make it good, efficient, ergonomic, and safety, and that can be replicated on many lines as you want to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea of the path that we're starting right now, Alex.
Yep. Yeah, I put this slide in just if this came up. I don't know how many of the people on the call are super familiar with like the Vention. I guess the formatting got messed up in the title, but it really is an end-to-end, as you're describing, like this cloud-based digital design tool that once the design is done and there, you can literally copy and paste and purchase it again. You can make changes and save it as a new design. You're getting your quote in real time. And then, yeah, all these parts, I think you mentioned earlier, ship within 15 days. Something like 50% or 60% of our products ship within a week, even less than that, and 85% ship within 2 weeks. So yeah, this is just a good visual to show for those who aren't familiar. Like the engineers and the teams we work with can log in and choose from a design or work with us design it, or they can do it themselves and get the whole bill of materials and everything, and then press order and have it shipped within a couple weeks. So sounds like you guys are taking full advantage of that, which is great to hear.
Yeah, and just kind of to give an one data, Alex, is for example, I mean, or tool room and or tool department is just full of a lot of work and projects that I mean, because they do also maintenance the current fixtures and all that. So when we start this journey of start making, custom design, fixturing, and designing, the designing phase is that we just look around on a couple of suppliers of fixture designing. Basically the cost, it was, and I'm just gonna throw a number, but it was like 20 grand USA dollar for a fixture design, you
Yeah.
know, plus additional the fabrication of it, right? And that is what really drives the business case of avoiding those 20 grands for fixturing designing. I mean, you only have maybe two paths. I mean, you can subcontract somebody that do cheaper, right? Or you start developing that skill in the manufacturing team to start developing that kind of fixtures. But then you're turning into another problem that oh well, I'm where I'm gonna do it. I maybe don't have the assets to build it. I maybe don't have the material. It's going to take me 2 3 months to build a fixture, right?
Yeah.
So that is where really helps to do the return of investment of avoiding that 20 grand investment on featuring design and the lead time of having the stuff in place, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. I think like, I mean, Vention, we're using the same materials every other integrator or supplier uses, right? So the material costs kind of look the same, but the place where we can add value is the custom engineering is just faster and more efficient. And by that, then you reduce the total CapEx spend. And you can either work with us and we can design it, or again, you guys can design it on your own. So, and which maybe cuts out even more costs out of it. So,
Yep.
let's see, we're wrapping up here. I just saw a question come through, so good timing. Let me jump actually to the last slide here. So someone says, Jasdeep said, it's pretty insightful to witness the change with the new equipment from Vention, but I'm curious about the return on investment for Sears Seating to put the change in perspective. Are you looking at the ROI to be months or years ahead?
This is basically our return investment was about a little bit more than a year for when we start putting the numbers on it. And again, it is more matter of getting a really custom design stuff to any other supplier. I mean, any maybe a custom or turnkey solution. When we start putting kind of like that business case was about 15 months for return of investment, right? Maybe it's hard to do a apple to apples return of investment because at some point is win to win stuff. I mean, when it's not really simple to compare, a turnkey solution because you with Vention you need to still have input from your team, from maintenance and from manufacturing to do the proper implementation on the shop floor, right? So it's kind of hard to compare apple to apples, but that's kind of where I see it, that you empower the team to actually be part of the solution, help on the design, and actually be the team to implement it, right? So it was kind of, I mean, we it was kind of hard to us to compare apple to apples, but the return of investment that we did the analysis, it was about 15 months.
That's pretty on par with, we actually did a survey over the last couple of years of, I don't know, 100 or so of our customers and asked what their ROI was with Vention, and the average was 1.3 years. So that's pretty much similar to what you're saying, Roberto. So
Okay.
yeah. Um, great. Well, I think that was a really good overview, and I love the visuals. That always helps. I'm a visual person. We had the one question from Just Deep, but that's it for now. I do have Roberto's information here. If you have any more questions, and mine as well, reach out to me or Roberto on LinkedIn. Otherwise, I just want to thank you again, Roberto. We love working with you and the Sears team. I know there's more to come, but I appreciate you taking the time to join us today and share your insights.
No, thank you for the invite, Alex, and thank you all the audience for the time.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everyone. Keep an eye out for the email. I'll send out the new white paper later this week.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All
Have a
right.
nice day.
Yes. Thank you.